Hello everybody, welcome back to the table. Today we're going to do one of the, beginner scenarios, starting scenarios from the Heroes of Normandy module. In the introduction it mentions that this book is a combination of modules from, scenarios from several modules, and that this one here, Saving Brigadier Hill, it actually recommends that you could start with this one. So that's what I'm going to do today. So what we'll do is read the scenario, kind of see what we have as far as troop setup, and then we'll see what kind of trouble we can get into. So the story here, this is Ranville, France, June 6, 1944. The British 3rd Parabrigade under Brigadier James Hill had successfully accomplished their D-Day objectives, but with heavy casualties. They then established holding positions north of the town of Ranville. Ranville was key in defending the British right flank. Hill and his staff did their best in placing blocking positions against a stereotypical, strong German counterattack. But the line was stretched thin. The Germans quickly took advantage of this precarious situation the following day. Written by Dale Holmstrom. Alright, so the British order of battle. Very scary. So this is 3rd Brigade Headquarters, 6th Airborne Division. Very scary in the sense that I got virtually nothing. I don't know how well y'all can see the board, but here there is one event line of sight marker right there. So I've got that on this hex. This hex 14D, that's the hex the British are defending. So this particular scenario is 8 turns long. British have initiative on turn 1. So the Germans are trying to get across here, and then if they can take that position and no good order British units are within 3 hexes, they'll win. So they're just going to come through and try to wipe all that stuff out. Sounds easy, but I'm sure there's a trick to it. There is a paragraph to read which I haven't read. My eyes kind of drift down to it and I can see that there's reinforcements of some kind, but I don't know if it'll be enough, because the British, much smaller attacking force, well, defending force, under this stack, and this is why I might not have set up very well, but in my mind I had 2 foxholes. So I put a foxhole down here where there was some woods, and my idea was, since I'm defending this hex, this might give me a pretty good open line of sight to that hex in the surrounding area where people might come. So I do have a Vickers support weapon with a 164 British paratrooper unit. It's got the assault and a melee option, which I'll have to reread at some point to try and refresh my mind on the A and the M subscripts. I know one has to do with like assaulting, one has to do with melee or movement, something, but it makes them a little tougher. And then I have Lord Holmes. Lord Holmes has the decisive skill. That's the one use. I've got that down now. It's a one use skill that will let him activate a stack twice in a turn. So he can activate it and then come back and activate them again. Then I put my other foxhole over here in this cornfield, and my thought again was, depending on where Germans come from, if they try and come through here, now a map rule is that all this bocage is counted as hedge. So if I've got anybody coming over the hedge to try and sneak around, then I've got some British that are laying in wait. Possibly, now that I think about it, let me just cheat for a moment. Maybe it might be better if I put them here, because now they can possibly use the hedge. The hedge really doesn't offer a whole lot of defense, to be quite honest. The foxhole is what gives them the defense, but maybe I can use the hedge to my extent. Maybe I'm actually better off here. I think I might be better off there, because yes, this will give some blocked line of sight for the Germans to march up, but then they have to hop the hedge, and then bam, I can just pop them. So I think I'll leave them where they were. Okay, then that leaves me with this last British paratrooper squad I have in this house here. It's the the stone house, better defense. So I've got them right there, and hopefully they've got some open line of sight to shoot at stuff coming down. So not much as far as the British defenders. Now the German assault team, they have a lot. They have a couple platoons coming down. They got like a nice company of troops moving through. They got 2 leaders. One, they've got Lieutenant Koch, I'm assuming that's Coke because cock would sound weird. K-O-C-H. I'm going with Coke. He's got a platoon over here. It's got two 164 or one. He's got a 144, a 164, a 264 with assault, and an MG34 attached to the 264 squad. So I've got them as a nice big old stack to come marching down. And then just off by itself is a 164. Then over here, I think these are all 164s. So this platoon here has got 164s, and they also have an MG34. Then here we have Sargent Bowman. He has the deadly skill. So he gets to add 1 to the overall firepower of an attack. And I just read it, but just to make sure I've got this in my memory. Add 1 to the firepower of attacks from units stacked with the leader. It doesn't say if that includes melee, but when you're totaling up your firepower, I'm assuming that would include melee as well. So just overall 1 firepower to attack. So that's going to make this a very deadly stack. I also gave them the medic, because the medic will be needed to heal wounded units. Then he has a couple 164 squads. He also has a 264 and then an MG34 underneath. So the Germans are bringing quite a bit of troops with them. A lot. Alright, so we'll just stick that there. I mean, again, so with my inexperience, just in case this is your first time watching, I'm a novice. This is a very recent game for me. So I'm still kind of learning some of the rules, interactions, and just the rules in general. And then that means I'm learning the strategies. I think putting them in stacks is good, because if the stack can attack, you get, you're adding your firepowers together. But at the same time, a stack can also be deadly, right? Because if they shoot into that hex, you're attacking everything in the stack. So I'm still learning what is the balance of stacks versus having just a bunch of individual counters. So we'll see how this goes. I mean, I understand another strong advantage to a stack is the fact that with your leader attached, they can add their leadership modifier to combat, or potentially, as is important, to rally. None of the units here are self-rally except for my couple of leaders. So I think the medic self-rallies too, but he can't rally a squad. He can rally one person or something like that, whereas the leader, does the whole stack. So kind of finding that balance for deployment and where to go is kind of tough. So this is where I started the British. Now, the German deployment said anywhere east of this road that started over here on 16 hex A4 all the way along here till 04. So I literally took that to mean east of the hex. So they are all 1 hex east of the road. So I took that as a literal interpretation when it said east of that road. It didn't say including the row or that road. That's the setup. Now, I did forget this. The British do have 1 sniper. So I've got that up here to try and remember I can place that. And it uses the standard rules. So at some point I'll be able to plop him down on the map, and he'll be able to sneak attack a stack. Thing is, the sniper doesn't attack a stack, I'm learning. They attack 1 unit in a stack. Still could be very useful, but it's random, so I don't get to pick my target in that stack. I have to, randomly determine who he attacks. So, yeah, we'll see how it goes. There it is. That's the setup. Now, if we start, we're going to check. First is rally phase. Initiative's already been determined. I don't have anything that needs to be rallied. So I think that would be done. So I'd go to operations phase. Now my British, part of me thinks I should have maybe deployed people forward into the house. Because if the Germans take the house, they'll technically maybe be in a better position than these guys here in the foxhole. But I was really just worried about people coming down this way, and I wouldn't have a clear line of sight to shoot at stuff in that hex. possible I could have gone to that house as well. So for now, I think the British will pass because we're on the defense. So I want to have the Germans come to me. So I'll pass. So the Germans are going to start making their cautious advances forward. I mean, I feel like with 8 turns, that gives me quite a bit of time to move things up. So I'm going to start with this 164 unit. So he's got 4 move points. 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm just going to move him right up here. Then back to the British. British will pass because there's no line of sight, no range. Oh, yeah, that's another thing too. It's a daytime mission. Thank you. A couple set of rules I don't have to try and remember all the time. So, daytime. Yay. Okay, British pass, comes back. I'm going to activate another German stack here. So I'm going to try moving these folks up. Again, trying to use some cover. Now, because this is hedges, it's like only one point of movement to cross it, and then you just pay the terrain you're moving into. Hedges do block line of sight, but it is one movement point to go over. So we'll probably cut through this woods. So we're going to move 1 movement point into the clear, 2 movement points into the woods. So I've spent 3, and then just 1 more to push on through. Technically, I could, because they're adjacent, they could shoot. I probably could have shot, but it's going zigzaggy over all those hedges there. So that might be blocking line of sight. So we'll just move these Germans up. Right there. Oh, and don't forget the move. Move. And we'll put move on them. British will pass. So I'll move this stack here. Lieutenant Coke. We probably don't need a double time. We might though. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, we're going to double time. So these guys, they get their double time on and they move. And again, all line of sight is blocked. Yeah, it like just barely cuts through that house there. That house right there. So I'd say that's blocked. I could be wrong, but that's how I see it. Because I could have, on this side, possibly did opportunity fire. But the range, I think. Yeah, because that would have cut through there. But really, their range is a 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, even if I had an honest to goodness line of sight, we didn't have range. So Germans move up. British are going to pass. And do I understand there's no limit to the amount of passes until you do 3 in a row. So British pass, German pass, British pass, then that's a turn. So this first turn is the Germans making tentative advances to test the British defenses. So this one here is where that first test will come into play. Now, with the metagaming, the Germans shouldn't know that there's a person down here in this house. Shouldn't know. It's not spotted, technically. So if I had a nice, fog of war, the Germans wouldn't know that there's someone there. But the Germans might want to test and see what happens when they try to cross the field. So I'm thinking back to lots of movies I watch, Band of Brothers and stuff like that. Some people move forward and then boom, they get shot. So instead of moving the whole stack, because this will bring us out into an exposed open field, I'm going to keep back the leader, the medic. And I'm going to take this 164 squad, and they're now going to be my sacrificial lamb. So I send them forward. So they spend 1 movement point, and then they're at 3 movement points right now. I'm going to put a little reminder. That's how many movement points they've done. And I think, to be fair, again, metagaming, the British person knows there's more Germans behind that. And they might want to wait till there's a juicier stack. But if I don't shoot here at these folks, then the Germans going to get really close that another turn they could assault move into that house and possibly have a lot more German troops behind. So this British unit is going to be brave, and they're going to go ahead and shoot this squad here as they've come across. So range of 6 means they are perfectly within range. So no problem there. Now one thing I'm going to do though is check the, I don't know if it was a special rule here on the nationality, the little subscript. I think that's in the rules. I have to read the little subscript because they have the A and the M. So let me just pause here for a second and make sure I've got the A and the M subscripts correct. Alright, just double checked. So on my British, the A little superscript means at adjacent shooting they get a +3 bonus instead of a +2. So they have really good up close firepower. Then the M, which is going to happen during a melee, they get to add 1 to their melee firepower. So it's not per unit, but it's per stack. So if I had like 3 of those guys stacked together, it would still just be a +1 bonus to either the adjacent firing or to the melee. So I just wanted to make sure I had that, because they could wait till somebody got up close to melee range, but that's before they shoot, but that's not going to happen this turn. So he expended 3 movement points. He's going to have 1 movement point left after this if he doesn't get shot. Alright, so now we're going to start totaling up our firepower. I have firepower 1, so I've got 1. So let's roll the dice, and then we'll check the defense, which is basically there's no defense. They're out in the open. Let's move those here. Alright, well, that worked out pretty good for the German player because I rolled 5 for the German player's defense, and there's no cover. So they were wide out in the open. And the British player rolled 2 plus their 1, that's a 3. And there's no, I'm just making sure, one thing that I tend to forget a lot of times are all the different bonuses I might have. So there's no leadership modifier, we're not adjacent. Oh, they're moving though. They are moving, so that's +1 for the British, but that still falls short of the British defense roll, because that would be a grand total of 4 versus their 5. There's no degrading terrain. Yeah, just looking at the list here. So essentially, the Germans crossed the hedge out in the open, running and screaming. The British were expecting something to come through, but they apparently were not totally prepared. So they used their last movement point. I didn't do leadership. I didn't do the double time because the leader didn't move with that particular group. So they only had the 4 movement points. So they cross over the hedge and they get there. And I'm going to mark them with a move. So good job. I found a low crawl in here. Let's move that over to move assault. Alright, so I think that went well. And then the British get marked with a fired. And that's why people, I've learned, like to send sacrificial squads, because now I can bring the rest of the German platoon up and no one's going to shoot at them. Now they won't need a double time because, well, I don't think I want to move the 2 stacks, like rebuild the stack, because then if the British shoot, they'd be shooting at the entire stack, and that could be bad. The leader, however, since he can activate himself and all adjacent, he might just move up here. So he's going to go 1, 2, 3, 4. 1 to move into the clear open road. 1 to cross the hedge. 1 to move into this nice open hex. And then 1 more. That's 4. So we're going to mark him. I guess I could have done assault move. Move and then fire, but that'd be half movement. And I don't think we wouldn't have really been effective. We couldn't have got across the hedge. So this was probably, I think, the better option. Now back to the British player. So the British player can see now that all these Germans are coming and reevaluate where he wants to be. Yes, I do have a foxhole here with a Vickers machine gun and a squad attached to it, but I'm looking and it's like, do I want them to stay here? See, now part of me is thinking they want to rush up to this building. Let's see, so if we moved here, we'd go 1, 2, 3, 4. Then we'd be set to defend here because they can't shoot through the building. So this guy here is responsible for defending that sector because we can't see through this building. And then if the German moves up, I mean, he can move like right into this building, have some protection, and then be able to fight and attack people. Well, I tell you, I just really don't know what would be best here. I think we might just stay here in the foxhole because he's got woods and a foxhole. He actually has pretty good defensive terrain that he can defend from, even if the Germans take that house. I think they're going to stay. So I think the British will pass, the German player will pass, and then the British guy will pass again. So that will be the completion of a turn. So I'm going to take these markers off. I don't have any fire for effect markers or smoke or anything. So we're just going to take these off. And the fired marker. Now then, these folks are back to being hidden because they're out of line of sight. These guys, because they're in the open, they don't have to be spotted to be shot at. So the British player, if he gets initiative again, he really does have a nice fat juicy target right there. If the Germans get the initiative, I might just have this guy run up to assault into that building and then see if we can get some combat going. That might be what we do. And then these Germans will push up as needed. So let's roll for initiative. So we're going to see who gets it. It was British. And it retains British initiative. Alright, so that's very lucky. So turn to British player. And the British player shifts concentration of firepower over from that one little squad to this stack. So this right here could be the first really, really bad mistake tactically that I've done here for the German player. So I just got my fired marker ready just in case there. So let's roll the dice, then we'll add some modifiers. Well, I tell you what, German player rolled a 5. So even though they're out in the open, that's a really good number. Now, they're not moving yet, so they don't get a movement penalty or bonus or anything like that. So really, all the British player has is his 1 and then his 2. They're not adjacent, no leadership modifiers, nothing. So I think that is just another whiff of shooting. Bad dice roll for the British player. So, good job, Germany. So I'll put that fired marker there. Yikes. That's scary. Because now the German player can just bring the whole weight down of his squads here. Do I want to do that, or do I want to move some other stuff first? So when I'm looking at the melee rules, from what I remember and how I understand it, if I was to move this squad in here, that would initiate melee. I could put a melee marker on there. And you can't shoot into melee or out from melee. Got it. Then they would initiate a melee fight right at that time. So then, if I move it in these troops here as reinforcements, because melee combat already took place this turn, the stack would not be able to add all of its bonuses until the next turn, and that would give a chance for the British to reinforce it. So I think probably if I want to initiate melee, I would want to go ahead and take this whole stack in. Probably what I'll do first, I think, because you got a couple things I could do. I could either shoot with the stack and try to get a shaken result. Then I could have a unit walk in, put the melee marker down, but then they win the melee. Or I could have this unit, this German unit, shoot, try to get the shaken, and then have the stack come in. Now I do have, because he's got the deadly, so he's going to add to his firepower. I have the medic. I have a 164. I got the 264 there with the MG34. And he's got a leadership modifier +1. This is a really deadly stack. I think what we'll do is actually have this stack shoot and then try to get a shaken result, and then I'll move this German unit squad up. That's what I'm going to try and do, because I'm going to have some really good modifiers. So let me roll the dice first. I think I like to roll the dice, then add my numbers. Just makes it easier for me to see, the totals. I know you're supposed to like roll, get your bonuses and things and roll, but I think I like to do it this way. Woo! Well, a 1 for the German, 6 for the British. So actually, I don't think we're going to have much effect. That's a very lucky result there for the British. So they're firing, but the reason why they're not hitting very well is because they're really hunkered down. They're hiding down behind rocks. They don't want to get shot. Okay, so let's see what would happen here. Because that red dot, I think that means it's stone building. It has 4 defense. 4 defense. So actually, the British player is sitting on a happy 10. Holy cow. 10 defense right now. That British player, they are dug in there deeper than an Alabama tick. So the German player, though, let's see. 2 for the machine gun. 2 for that squad is the primary firing squad. Half a point for that squad, so I'm at 4.5. And that makes it 5. Deadly makes it 6. And leadership modifier makes it 7. Medic doesn't contribute. 7 plus my 1 is 8. Oh wait, I just sucked in that neighboring squad by accident. Hold on. Thought they were part of my look up there. So actually it's still 7. 7 firepower versus 10 defense. If my math is right, that just means the British player just laughed off all that planning. Oops. Okay then. Next impulse. British player, says I'll pass. Okay. German player says we want to flank the British. Okay. So we're going to cross 1 for the hex. What is the corn there? That's a wheat field. 2 movement points. So it takes 3 movement points to hop the hedge and get into the wheat. And I don't have enough movement points to go anywhere else. So those guys are going to get moved. And I honestly, when I think of wheat, I don't think that much of it as far as like, does it really impede movement that much? And I didn't grow up in wheat fields and things of that nature, and I've been to a corn maze, but corn grows really high. But I watched a movie. It was like a homemade kind of World War II flick with German units. Anyway, these Germans were walking through what I would assume was some kind of wheat field, and it did grow pretty tall, and I could see how you could get lost in a wheat field very easily. And they had like a drone, because when they just slowly pulled the drone up from, it was like kind of eye level with the German troops, and then as it pulled up and up and up, it was so dense looking, this wheat field they were walking through, that I swear if you had put another squad like 2 feet away going in the opposite direction, other than sound, you would not know that there was another squad next to you. So this wheat field is no joke. It is definitely much thicker than what I first thought it would be. So I'm okay by saying these guys hopped a hedge, entered a wheat field, and then said, yeah, we're good for the moment. Thank you for letting me ramble there for a moment. All right, so that's German. Then the British are going to wait. Then German activation. Still thinking about moving. The thing is, though, this guy here being a 164, and these guys here are 164, the British actually have the upper hand then when it's going to come to melee, because you get to add +1 firepower. So it'd be 2-to-1 favor for the British, and only 1 firepower for it'd be 1-2. It definitely is in favor of the British. So that German soldier, he's not going to advance in there. That's why I was saying if I could have scored a shake-in, then I'd have that one little squad pop in. So what I'm actually going to do is have that squad shoot. They're going to shoot at that guy in the stone building. It might not come to much. This really comes down to, do I get a good die roll or not? It's still not a good die roll. So the German got 3 at his 1 firepower, so that's 4. And the defender, 2 plus his 4 for the stone building, that's 6. So the German player just gets a fired. Hello, fired marker. Alright, and then British will pass. Yeah, they're going to pass. Germans continue the advance. These guys could move up 1, 2, 3, 4. They're going to move up to the house. So they move 1, 2, 3 to cross the hedge, because just in case you joined late, this scenario, all the hedges, or all of these bocage are counted as hedge. So hopefully I'm doing hedge correctly. And then their 4th movement point puts them behind the house. Okay, we're going to give them a moved. Moved. British pass. Okay. This guy, he's going to move up into the house. Do they want to double move, though? Since they do have a leader. See, now that I think about it, I forgot. I could have double moved with this guy here who's got deadly. But I didn't. I didn't. But this guy, I can double move, double time with him, because I could go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and get into that woods. That I think is what we're going to do, because we're going to be aggressive on this side. Be aggressive as I slowly move these little squads. But we got a leader, so we're going to go 1, 2. Now, because this marker is line of sight, I just got to check to see where line of sight. Technically, I think that counts as line of sight. Once we move into that building, that's line of sight. Also, not line of sight, because it cuts through those woods right there. But I get line of sight to event A. So I'm going to, let's read the event. All right. It says German activation only. Read the paragraph. Paragraph 1. Remove the event marker. The Brigadier's runner made it to the 9th Battalion commander. He immediately commands a rescue party to outflank the German attack. British impulse immediately. The following British reinforcements enter via the east edge of map 16. It's going to be 3 164 squads, those nice British paratrooper commando dudes, with Bren gun each, and then Captain MacLeod of the Clan MacLeod. Oh man, and they get to come in on 16-1 anywhere that I feel is good. So give me a moment, and I'm going to pull out some British, and we're going to stick them on the map, and we'll see what kind of mayhem they get into. Alright, welcome back. We got the British on the board. So this is the British reinforcements that we got from opening event A. So I'm going to go ahead and take that off. Put that back here. Now, the thing is though, even though I got Captain MacLeod and there's 3 of these squads and each one has a Bren, yeah, we can now put the squeeze on the Germans, but there's like no defense. So these squads would be kind of acting out in the open. Because now the Germans have a house here. Once you get across, we'll have woods and whatnot. So any position that I'm acting from, they're in the open, exposed. So yeah, I could kind of pinch her now, but it's not really beneficial. So I actually, and this could be very wrong, had a thought where I'm just going to try and flank my British now this away. Then the Germans have to think about, well, what threat do I deal with? Because if I can bring the British around and they can help reinforce the defense and then shoot from maybe defensive positions that they can get on this side of the map. That's my idea. Because anywhere that I go here, it's all open. Everybody's out in the open here. And I want to try and get some of these guys to live. So I put them here. This rough stuff, if I remember right, it's like just, yeah, brush flowers. It's degrading, but the movement is just one movement point. So I can just move through it. Because I was thinking about double timing. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, essentially. Because it's 1 for the hedge and then 2 for the wheat field. So I'm just going to move them all right there. Now, they're safe because these guys have done something and the wheat field blocks line of sight. Now the Germans, I put the move on them because it said once I activate that line of sight event that it immediately becomes a British impulse. So in my mind, that ended the impulse for the German because we moved on to a British impulse. So I put a move marker on them because they were moving. And if I remember right, we said that this little woods right here block line of sight. So I won't get a move bonus if I was to shoot there because I can't. And nobody else has line of sight. So that'd be the end of the British impulse. All my German units are done. And the British are waiting. So I'm going to take that as an end of turn. So that's end of turn 2. We now have a whole bunch of players on the board. Let's see how that works out. I think there's still a slight advantage to the German player, but a single die roll could change that entirely. This is still a precarious situation because Germans are still out in the open, and we just weren't able to crack the defense of this house with that one squad. See, now that I'm seeing it, man, having that Vickers machine gun up here would just be tearing these things up. So, you know, lesson learned as far as defense. Maybe next time I will put the machine gun up. I was just thinking I'd have a nice sweeping second line of defense. But in a way, it's kind of working because they're holding the Germans in place a little bit. It's going to force them to move up. But they're in the open. But anyway, let's roll for initiative. Here's my cup. Here it is. Germans win the initiative this time. So we're going to flip that marker. It's now German initiative. I don't even know if you can see that. Yeah, you can't see most of the initiative tracker. Sorry about that. Okay, so with German initiative, what threat to deal with first? I really think we need to deal with that squad. We were just talking about them. I think if I can get them on shaken, then I can just pop right on in with that squad. So fix them, find them. What is it? Find them, fix them, flank them. That's what we're trying to do. We found them. Now we want to fix them, and I'm going to try and get a flank. So let's roll the dice here. Ooh, this could work in the German player's favor. So right now, this gives me a 9 on the defense for that stone building. Let's see what we got here for firepower with the German side. So we have Sargent Bowman. He's got leadership modifier of 1. Medic doesn't count. I've got only one 164 squad, so it's 2 for the machine gun, 2 for the squad. Let me just add those up. 4, 5 for leadership, 6 for deadly, half for him, and then that would. So what would that be? Oh, I'm no good at remembering things. That's 6.5, right? And then once you have all the final total, you round it up. So that's a grand total firepower of 7. That's actually pretty darn good. Let's see, 2, 4, 6, 7. And then add my 5. 7 plus 5 is 12. And he's got 9 defense. So that's a difference of 3. Ooh, okay. It's a difference of 3. So you're going to make a damage check, and they have a penalty of 3 for the morale. Okay. Good luck. Now, either good luck for the German, because they want to shake that guy, or good luck for the morale here. So we got to roll, I think we need to roll a 1, 2, or 3, and we'll be okay. Anything higher than that, and they will shake. 2 plus 3 is 5. That's less than the morale. So, yay, they passed the damage check. Oh, also, we rolled, oh, it's only if you roll a 1, right? If you roll a 1, then we get to check for a hero. So they rolled a 2. So no hero check. So they survived. Once again, oh my goodness, the German player took a chance. Probably not the smartest decision, because now they're going to fire back at that stack that just shot at them. Alright, so the British player says, let's do this. And that might do it. Look at that. They have an easy firepower to calculate. 6 plus 1 is 7 against the 3. That's a damage check modifier difference of 4. And I'll just use this. 4. Oh, noes. Okay, let's put a fired marker here. Oh man, this is not going to go so good for the German player. So let's see what happens here. First of all, we're going to check for Lieutenant Bowman, because if he passes, then he can use his leadership modifier for the other people's check. So, and we're adding 4. So I have to roll a 1 or a 2 to be successful. 5 and 4 is 9. So it's over, but it's not twice. So he's not wounded, but he is shaken. Alright, medic. Medic rolls a 4. 4 and 4 is 8, so the medic is shaken. Okay, we'll just stick that there. This squad, they have a 5 round, so they need to roll a 1, where they're shaken. 6 and 4 is 10. That is twice. I believe twice. So if it's, let's see. If it is greater than or equal to 2 times the morale but less than 3, it's casualties. So they get shaken and they have casualties. But what does a 164 reduce down to? I believe I got that on one of these sheets here. a 164 for the Wehrmacht, if you can see that, is going to reduce down. So let's roll. They roll 5. So on an odd, it reduces to a 154 squad. Okay, let me find that real quick. So my 164 reduces to a 154. So I'm going to take that 164 off and put a 154 shaken. See, I had a feeling that was not going to work out for the German player putting him there. I mean, I really thought we could, with a lot of firepower, get into that British defense there, but no. Okay, so now that's the 264 to roll. They got the support weapon, and they roll a 1. So they succeed, and they get to make a hero check. If they roll an even, they produce a hero. And they roll a 2, so yay, hero check. Now, I am going to just double check that, because that's a hero check out of my memory. So whenever a 1 is rolled during a squad or half squad's damage check, roll, if even, randomly pick a hero and skill counter. Cool. Why don't I do that? I'm going to pause us here. I'm going to go get us a German hero. Alright, welcome back. We got ourselves the hero here. We picked up, his name is Anakin. I think that's what that says. Or Anakin. Oh, we got Anakin. We have Anakin, folks. And he drew the leader hero. Reading the leader hero, I just set it down. It says that they have a leadership modifier now of 1. So they're like a hero, or they're like a leader. So they get a leadership modifier bonus for things. So that's very cool. And then if they're wounded, they don't lose the leadership modifier. So this is like a super leader hero unit. And now he's in here. Wow. So they took some fire, but that worked out for the best. So we got the medic, a shaken leader who retains his deadly. Oh, he's got a squad there. So, you know, good, bad. Take the good with the bad there. I would love to say that worked out in the Germans' favor. You know, if I was exchanging wounds and whatnot. So they only got shaken. Well, they did get a casualty, shaken, but then generated a hero. So, you know, I don't know. Good, bad. But that was the British fire. German player turn. So I think we'll assault move with these guys, because then, no, I won't do that, because they take a -2 firepower hit, and then we get +2 for being adjacent. So yeah, that really won't do any good. They need cover. We'll go ahead and shoot. We're gonna shoot, but I have to roll like really well, and the British player has to roll really, really poor in order for us to make some progress here against that stone building. It's tie. It's a tie, because 5 here for the German player and my 1 firepower. Like this is almost the roll that we needed. So it's his 1 firepower +6, and then that stone defense of 4, which is 6. So it goes to the defender. Goes to the defender. So yeah, nothing good there. Now, if it comes back, it does come back to the British player. So the British player, I think we're in a good spot now where I might pop down the sniper. Now, I've read through the rules a couple times for sniper, and I played it once in the training scenario. So my basic understanding of the sniper is this, because I just read it. So hopefully, after just reading this not too long ago, I get it right. I put him down on the map, and I don't even think I got a good spot to put him on here as far as defense goes. I think I'd have to put him here. Yes, I think I will. Because here's the thing. One, I know they are a non-melee eligible unit. So if people rush in there, they're going to capture the sniper. Which, putting him here puts him in a really, really bad spot. Because this squad here is coming up soon. But, hear me out. It gives me an opportunity to shoot into this stack. But see, you don't even get to attack the whole stack. You roll and attacks one unit. And then, for his firepower, he rolls 2 dice and takes the higher result. So there's a good chance, though, that whatever unit I shoot at, they're going to get hurt. But then the German player is just going to walk up and take him. Desperate times call for desperate measures. So I think that's what the British player is going to do. He's going to drop his sniper. He's going to shoot into that stack. And since they're in the open, I think they still get their die roll for defense. So first of all, let's do this. The sniper rolls 2 dice 6. So he's going to take a 5. Okay, so he rolled an attack score of 5. Then, terrain modifier. Well, there's no terrain modifier, but just a die roll for the German player. He rolled a 1. Okay, so that's going to work out pretty good, I think. So the sniper is attacking one of those units in that hex with a damage check of 4. But which one? One of these has an MG34. So what I'm going to do is, I'm going to roll a die 6. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2. Couldn't have planned that better. So now they got to make their roll. So I found out who's being attacked. So here we go. And I got to add 4. It's a 1. Holy cow. Things are either looking up for whoever. The dice are giving us interesting stories. So 1 plus 4 is 5. That's equal to their morale. They shrug off the sniper fire. I pictured that going a lot differently. Then they rolled a 1. So now they get to check to see for hero creation there. They rolled odd, so no hero. No hero. So basically, we're going to mark this sniper with a fired. Now see, ahead of time, I said to myself, that might be bad, but I was like, you know what? We're going to go for it. We're going to risk it. Great. Okay. So that stack, they're fine. So now, it's a German impulse. I think I want to do the thing where I come and take the sniper. I think so. But who do I want to do that with? They have 4 movement, so it's 2, 3. They don't have enough. 1, 2. So if I double time it with the lieutenant, for sure they'll make it. They don't even have to double time because it's going to be 1 for the open, 1 for the open, 2 for the woods. Since he's fired, he can't opportunity fire, and this blocks line of sight. And then from this squad up here all the way down, blocked line of sight, because there's a wall here, and a wall blocks line of sight. I just make sure it's not a hindrance. Sometimes, yeah, it says wall is blocking, so that wall is high enough. So we're going to run in and we're going to take that sniper. 1, 2, push him out. So we go in there and take him. So put that as an allied casualty. And we'll put a moved marker here. So we know that a whole bunch of Germans have just run up here. Oh, I did forget to put a moved marker here. Those guys were brave and they ran. Oh wait, that was last turn, right? We're on a whole new turn. I forgot about them. So I probably should have held off on the sniper, huh? Come to think of it. Well, so the Germans have now gone. Now the British, see, this is why the British player wanted to have these guys come around the back door. Actually, now that this guy is out of the way, so, oh man, this is tough because I was just thinking I could just so totally go in here and melee this guy and wipe him out. Because I've got so much firepower, you would not believe the amount of firepower I'm bringing to a melee combat. But when they get here, he can do opportunity fire. Go big or go home. So we're gonna run 1, 2. Well, the reason we're running is because it takes 2 movement points just to get into that hex, right? So 1, 2. Oh man, this might be bad. So far I've said that, and actually it's kind of been bad all the time. Because I just realized, right, we're going to get a lot of potential bonus points to this guy's firepower. Because there's he has 1 firepower, plus 2 for being adjacent, and then plus 1 because this guy is moving. That's 4. That gives him, so 1 for the unit, 2 for adjacent, 1 because the guy's moving. Alright, so let's roll the dice. Ooh, this might be bad, It might not be so bad. Okay, so, well, it could be bad. Rolled 5 for him, 4. So 4 plus 4 is, I have 8 firepower. I gotta die 20 here to keep track of that. So 8 firepower. So let's look at the defense. Does that wheat field give a defense? Nope. It does not give defense. So he knows they're there, hears them running through the wheat field, and they're screaming, "Ah!" And he's like, open fire. So 8 minus 5 is 3. So we're going to make damage checks with a 3 modifier. But anybody who gets through unscathed is going into that German hex. So let's check the leader. So remember, we got a difference of 3. So I'm going to put that on my little reminder die here. We'll move that German die off to the side. Alright, let's check the first British guy. 1 plus 3 is 4, less than morale. So Captain McLeod survives. Since he's a single man counter, he does not get to make a hero check. Then we have a squad. 5 plus 3 is 8. That is greater than, but is not twice their morale. So they are shaken. They will not be doing melee. Next squad. 6 plus 3 is 9. Again, it is not twice then, but they are shaken. Okay, so this turned out to be very bad for the British player. And then, last squad. Rolls a 1. Plus 3 is 4. That's less than the morale, which is good, because we needed that, because they're a Bren gun team, and, well, they all have Brens. But, do we generate a British hero? I need a hero. Nope, no British hero. Now, the remaining Assaulter and Captain McLeod finished their move. Alright, and then these guys, so the bad thing about that is by having Captain McLeod leave, they won't be able to rally. Captain McLeod will have to do his melee combat, wipe out that German squad, and then take a time to go back and try to rally all his troops together. Or they can at some point, well, when they're shaken though, it's like it says they can't move towards enemy units. So Captain McLeod is going to have to come back and try to, so even though they're not, you know, if this was my son, he'd say, but Dad, they're not moving towards enemy units. They're getting closer to their boss. But there's enemy units behind the boss. So I'm going to have to move Captain McLeod back. Alright, but now we've got a melee marker. Let's see what happens here. So we have, for the British, we got a fancy assault team there with Captain McLeod and a Bren gun. Now I'm not going to roll dice yet because I have to get the odds and then look at the melee table and see how that plays out. And then each person gets to be the attacker, defender. But I'm going to check the British first. I'll show you what I mean. If you're not real familiar with melee, and I could be getting this wrong, so you can correct me, but I didn't feel like rereading it. So off of my memory, I add up all the firepower, compare that, and get an odds ratio. With the British, I have 1 for the leadership. I have 1 for the British squad, 1 for the Bren gun, and then I get to add 1 because they have the melee superscript. So that's 4. Then the British guy has a 1. That's 4-to-1 odds. 4-to-1 odds in favor of the British player. So that gives a melee result of kill dice roll, if you will, of 4. So the British player is going to roll 2 dice, and if he rolls a 4 or greater, he wins. He rolled snake eyes. Oh man. I would want to feel upset about that, but since I'm playing both sides, I root for everybody. So that, yeah, that's about how it goes. Okay, so now we flip it. The German player is going his 1 firepower. I don't think there was anything else for melee firepower. I don't think there's any hidden things where people automatically get pluses and things. I think it's just you just get their firepower, and he's got nothing. He's got no leadership, nothing. So he's gonna roll on the 1-3 table. There's no 1 to 4. 1 to 3 is where it goes the most. But he needs a kill score of 11 to wipe out the attackers. So let's see here. He rolled a 3, so it wasn't any better. Okay then. Ta-da! Wow. Oh, totally not the narrative that I thought was going to happen. Alright, so that melee marker stays there. That's going to carry into the next turn, and either side at one point during the next turn can activate melee there in that hex. Alright. So that was the British impulse that moved up there. So now the Germans again. Okay, so now we do have, so options. I could move now and try to reinforce this melee. Melee won't happen again this turn. Like once you do a melee combat that turn, now it would just be reinforcing. So there's a chance I could go ahead and come back. And they're like, oh, Shiza, there's British and they're fighting. So if I move back, what's my line of sight here? If I move back, does Lord Holmes see anything? Because I had to move back to that hex. Lord Holmes could opportunity fire into that hex. Yep. Go big or go home, right? So the German player, knowing perfect knowledge, his drone sees there's guys there, so he says, I'm going to run back. Well, they're not going to get very far, actually. Let's look at the movement points. 1 for clear, 2 for the house, and since they're in a wheat field too, they can't even get in there. And they don't have a leader, so they can't double time it. So they would actually get to the house, and that's all they would be able to do at that moment. I think probably what we're going to do is move into this house. We're going to sacrifice that. Hey, that squad is holding off quite a bit of British firepower, so they're good. Alright, so this is what we're going to do. We're going to move right there. You're going to move. Lord Holmes sees them. They're spotted right now. Because they're not, even though they're not in the open, because they've moved, they are spotted. Now they do get some defense, so let's roll the dice and then we can add modifiers and get some total results here. So Lord Holmes. Well, it's not going to look good for the British. Alright, so firepower. We got a 2, 1 for Lord Holmes, and he is decisive. 1 for this British squad, 2 for that. So it's 2 for the Vickers, 1 for them. So that's 3, 4, 5, 6. And that's not the stone building, but it is a building, and it gives, I guess that's a light wooden construction, but still gives 3. So it was 6 firepower against a 7 defense. So Lord Holmes and his Vickers team, they open up as the Germans cross into there. Oh, hold on. +1 because they're moving. I forgot, they're moving. So let me just recalculate. Recalculating. What did I roll? It was 2. So it was 2 for the Vickers, 2 for the Vicar, 1 for the squad. That's 3. 1 for Lord Holmes is 4. 1 for their moving. That's 5. It's 7. I just knocked a die into that stack. Way to go, Eddie. 7. But it's still, it's a defense of 7. So even with that +1 for moving, the Germans laugh it off. Vickers, that's an old antiquated weapon. And now they're spotted. Alright, so the British. No more Germans. We got one British left. And he'll stay put. So pass. We're done. That's that turn done. So I'm going to take these off. Well, it's... I don't know if I want to say who this is going to right now. Oh, I need to find that melee marker. Melee marker stays on though. I don't need to take that off. They're still in melee. Okay, let's roll for initiative. So we've got the 2 dice. British player. Start at turn 4. Allies get it. Okay, we're going to check for shaken. Now, thing is though, even though I have some British shaken units over here, shaken, they don't self-rally and they don't have a leader. And I did not see, there's no special rule for the scenario for that. And I don't remember seeing a special, like a British self-rally rule for those. British forces. All British units are tan base. Your heroes have, but their leaders do not. The 3 commando leaders all wear greenish berets. That's commando. I was just looking to see if there's something about them. Yeah, I don't see anything in here for British squad. I got the British squad reduction, but nothing about self-rally. And it's not a special rule. So, the British cannot rally. The German player, on the other hand, he gets to rally. So, first we're going to check the leader. They're not in the open, so they don't get any. They don't get a +2 modifier. So he's just going to try and get under 6, which he gets a 6. So good. The leader, he now gets to subtract 1 from his from the die rolls because of his leadership modifier. Good. Let's see who all we had down here. Okay, here we got a squad. It's 5. So that's 11 minus 1 is a 10, so he does not rally. The medic rolls a 6 minus 1 is 5, so the medic is rallied. And I believe, yep, that's it. We got a hero in the squad at least. But he does have a shaken unit. Alright. Thinking time. Well, it's the British. I forgot to take that move marker off. I'm looking here at the British, and offhand, I still think this right here has been a great defensive point. He's going to go ahead and shoot into that stack again and see if we can re-wound or cause more casualties or something. That seems to be the best choice. And it might be good. I think it's going to work out again. So, it's 6. It is a total firepower attack of 6 versus his 5 defense. So that's a damage check for everybody again with a penalty of 1. Alright, I mean, it's not huge, but the fact that I get to damage check everybody, that's kind of huge. So here's the leader. So 5 plus 1 is 6. So leader's good, and now he'll get his leadership modifier bonus for their damage checks. So he's already shaken. Let's see if we can do some harm. 4 plus 1 is 5, so nothing further happens. The medic. 6 plus 1 is 7. We do shake the medic. Alright. The hero. 4 plus 1 is 5. Nothing happens to the hero. And then my squad with the support weapon. 6. Wow. 6 plus 1. Oh, I forgot to minus 1. But still, just a die roll of 6. I think the medic. Let's see. The medic I think I rolled a 6. Yeah, and I forgot to subtract 1. If I was to rewind the tape, I think the medic is fine. Because see, if I roll a 6 plus 1 is 7, but subtract 1 for the leadership modifier at 6, I think the medic is fine. But in this case, 5 plus 1 is 6. Well, I think he's done, because I rolled a 6, plus the difference of 1 is 7, minus 1 for leadership modifier, it's still a 6. That's a shaken squad. So I think just in hindsight momentarily, the medic is fine, but that other squad. So now I've got 2 squads plus the squad with the machine gun is down. That leaves the hero. Okay. Did that work from the British? I think the British, that was pretty good. Pretty good. But now it's the German turn, right? But here's what I'm going to do. So even though I can't, there's not much I can do here. The firepower is really reduced because my squad with a machine gun is down. But here's what I am going to do. I'm going to have the hero charge into melee, because they get a nice odds shift in their favor for melee, which might be enough. It might not be enough. Nope, I'm going to tell you why that's bad. Because the British player still gets that +1 firepower. So even though the British guy gets to do a shift, like if we look at the table, the British then would have 2 to 1. So that the German player would be on a 1 to 2 odds. 1 column shift to the right means he'd have to roll a kill score of 9. Whereas the British player would have to roll a kill score of 6 to take care of that attacking German hero. So that's still not good odds. That squad is really holding things up. Okay then, let's come back here and continue this melee. Let's activate that right now. The British player says, the German player doesn't want to do that. German player wants to come down here and take out Lord Holmes. Let's try shooting. I got some units here. They're going to see if they can shake some stuff and then maybe get enough suppressive fire that Lieutenant Koch can run down there and take out Lord Holmes. That's what we're going to do. So we have here, this is where an X map would help out. 2 firepower, 3 firepower, 3.5 firepower, 4 firepower, because half, 4 firepower. Let's roll. So that's 6 total firepower for the German player. Now, defense roll of 2 for the British. Now the British are in a foxhole and in woods. Now, my memory is that the foxhole adds to the terrain modifier. So the woods is 2, plus 1 is a foxhole is 3, plus 1. Oh wait, what did I have rolled there? I think I rolled a 1. Oh, was that a 2? I don't remember. I just shifted it by accident. I think it was 2. So that's 3 plus 2. That's 5 total defense for the British, which means the German player has plus 1 advantage. So the British have to make damage checks with a 1 penalty. So I'm going to put my little reminder die there. Add 1 to the roll. So Lord Holmes has an amazing morale. So I'd have, even if I rolled a 6, he'd be fine. So Lord Holmes is good. Oh wait, is the damage check 2 dice? Have I been doing this wrong the whole time? I forgot. Damage check. Oh no. Damage check. Is it 2 dice? I think I've been rolling 1 die, right? It is just 1 die. I just had a moment of uncertainty. Let me go down here to 5, section 5, which is combat here. Let's roll the damage check. I think a damage check is just 1 die, but you know what? I just had a moment of, I don't remember now. Okay. Shaken. Look, I was going to reach up and pause for a second. Yeah, you roll 1. Okay, damage check is 1 die 6. Oh, I don't know why I just had that moment, but I did. Okay, so Lord Holmes will roll. Adds 1 for his morale is good. Then this paratrooper unit, they have to roll a 6 to fail the damage check because they got a really good morale. Oh man, I just took out Lord Holmes. They're good. And that's it, because all else is in there is a Vickers. Okay, so the Germans, good effort. Good effort. Didn't work out. So they get a fire marker. Back to the British. British are now going to do this melee here. Alright, what was in here? We had a Bryn, a squad, and Captain McLeod. So that's 1 for the Bryn, 1 for the squad, 1 leadership for Captain McLeod, and then plus 1 because they are superscripted with melee. So that's 4-to-1 odds. Yeah, that was... Don't roll snake eyes again, guys. 4-to-1 odds means I need to roll a 4 or higher. Come on, you can do it. Okay, this time the British get it. So they successfully win against that German unit. Now the German unit gets his turn, but he's going to be rolling on the 1 to 3 odds table. So he's got to roll an 11 or a 12. Oh! So with his last dying breath, he actually wins. Okay, so this actually is really bad. So the German player took a casualty, but then the British, the Bren gun stays. Melee. So we get an airborne unit. So we lost the sniper, lost an airborne squad, and we lost Captain McLeod. Okay. So mixed emotions there, mixed feelings. As the British player, that's amazing. That's an amazing role in favor of the German player, that I just lost a really good combat unit. And the fact that I lost a leader in that makes it all the more painful, because I thought I had that for sure. And then I would be able to come back and rally those 2 squads. As it stands, the British only had one leader, and he's defending that Vickers machine gun. But this is not good, because now I've got those reinforcements that have nothing. They're just stuck there now. Yeah. Okay. Well, so the British finished out that melee. That was their impulse. So now it's going back to the Germans. This German squad fired because they were trying to get some kind of shaken result here. I think what we'll do is move Lieutenant Koch up. Just one. We're just moving him up to this woods because he wants some protection, because he's going to fire into Lord Holmes. Drawback is Lord Holmes is going to return fire. He's going to opportunity fire. And I'm putting this move to remind me that he gets that move bonus. Okay. Now if I've done well, I've remembered these bonuses as I've gone along, but you never know. Alright, so we're going to roll the dice here. Okay, very good for the British. They rolled a 6. Defense, though, for the Germans, not a bad roll. It might not be enough, but it should give us an advantage on the damage check. Alright, so with Lord Holmes, he's got a leadership modifier of 1, 1 for the squad, 2 for the Vickers. So that is 10 firepower. So I'm going to grab my little die here. They're at 10 firepower. Not adjacent. Oh, the move though. Let's see. 6 plus 4. He's actually at 11. 11 firepower. See, I almost forgot the movement. Okay, now re-roll to 4, and okay, so this isn't so good because the woods there, the woods, light woods, is only 1. I honestly thought woods gave 2, but that's a light woods. That only gives 1 defense. So I actually messed up here earlier. So for those keeping track, I gave the British 1 extra defense point here. So really they should have been rolling their damage check with a 2 penalty, but I think I rolled low enough that it wouldn't have mattered. I rolled low enough that that 1 difference of point wouldn't matter. But it will matter here, because that means my 4 plus the 1 of the woods gives me 5. They have 11 firepower. They ended up with 11 firepower. And that is going to give us a difference of 5. Oh. Okay, so this is bad for the Germans. This is bad. Okay, well, let's see what we get here. So let's put the fire there so I don't forget about that. Alright, so Lieutenant Koch, you got to roll a 1 or a 2, sir. He rolls a 4, plus 5 is 9. I mean, that does flip him to the shaken side. He's not wounded. He's not wounded. Alright, the squad right there. That squad, something is happening. If they roll a 5 or a 6, it's casualty time. Luckily, they rolled a 1. They still shake, but I'm going to roll to see if they generate a hero. They rolled an odd, so no hero. They already got Anakin out there somewhere, but he's shaken. Okay, I have another squad here. Let's see if they shake. They also roll a 1, but plus 5 is 6, so they're going to shake, but do they get a hero? 2, so they get a hero. I only had 1 hero left, so I'm just going to grab a hero. So they do get a hero. And I've got my little draw cup here for the random skill. I'm just going to shake it up here. They get ambush. Now, I got to check real quick. Normally, this is where I would pause and make sure that that was a legitimate skill. But luckily, it says the ambush is for a leader or hero, so it is valid. Utilize this skill when a unit occupies an enemy hex or is adjacent to an enemy occupied hex. Roll 1 die 6 and place the forces allotted in the table to the right in or adjacent to the user's hex, even if enemy occupied. Reinforcements assume the activation status of the user and must be of the user's type. So basically, if I'm lucky, I can roll here on this table, and then I can get some reinforcements that will ambush. So if I move up, I could get nothing. I could get a half squad with machine gun support, or a full squad, or 2 squads. So that's good. Alright, so we got a hero with ambush, but that squad ended up shaking. 1 roll left. 6 plus 5 is 11. So my 2-6-4 squad is not only shaken, but 2-6-4, what do they reduce down to? When a squad is reduced, roll. Okay. If even, it becomes a 0-5-4 squad. So that is a huge reduction in firepower, because that was originally a 2-6-4 squad. So it is now, I guess that doesn't go in the box. I should have put that on a casualty, because that was a half there. Dang. 0-5-4. Shaken. And that's the one operating the machine gun. That's, I'm going to be honest and say that when I first started this, I thought the British was just going to get rolled over. Rolled over. It's not looking so good for the Germans right now. Oh, let's not forget to add the hero to that stack. Now, I do believe though that, well, heroes can't be shaken, so, but they do get to move. They're in the stack, they are moved. So, gosh. Okay, cool. The Germans do have, we got options. We might want to just move in melee. Who do we got here? Sargent Bowman. I know melee hasn't really worked out for us. I do have a hero, so I don't have to move the entire stack, but I can move just enough of the stack. But again, if I leave my stack, because that would give me 1-to-1 odds with a hero shift advantage on the melee. But then I have a medic. A medic could slowly bring people back. Why don't we do that? We're going to go bold. So I'm going to take our hero, and I'm going to take Sargent Bowman. Bowman has deadly. That might give us enough odds to dislodge that British squad. So 1 movement point, 2 movement points, 3 movement points. Let's grab a melee. Melee. And that becomes immediate, since we're the attacker. Now, the only question, since I have leader hero, he has a leadership modifier of 1. So does he get to add his 1 to himself for melee? Because that would be 1 point for his leadership modifier, 1 for Sergeant Bowman's leadership modifier, 1 for the hero's inherent firepower, and 1 because that's my deadly leader. It's like that's 4 firepower. And this here guy has 2. Oh. Yeah, that's right. So he has 2. So that's basically 2-to-1 odds. 2-to-1 odds in favor of the German player. And I get a shift column to the right. because it is a hero. So I gotta get a 5 to kill the British paratrooper. So Germans are attacking, they need a 5. Roll a 6. So the British squad will be eliminated, but the British player gets to return the favor. But he's attacking at, let's see, what did we say it was? It was 2-to-1 odds. So he'll be attacking at 1-to-2 odds. He needs a 10. Oh no, I had, yeah, it was 2-to-1, but I had to column shift. So he'll be attacking at just straight up 1-to-2 odds. And he rolls a 6. So the British player in that exchange loses out. Okay, that will go with it. That is marked melee. Now, one thing in the rules is it mentions that you can't shoot into hexes marked with melee. Even though I killed the British guy, the British couldn't return fire into that hex because things are happening. They explain the rule kind of simultaneously. It's just that we can only do one hex and one impulse at a time. But all of this action is happening kind of continuously. So if I had a British unit that could shoot into that hex, they couldn't because technically their buddies are still in that hex. So they're kind of safe for the moment, marked with melee. So that's what I did. I moved them up. All right, British. This isn't looking so good for the British. We need some firepower. I honestly think I'm going to have this squad here abandon the foxhole. That foxhole, only 1, isn't really going to do much. But down here, the building only gives 3. The building gives 3 defense, and I got direct clear sight of that hex. So this British is going to fall back because the Germans are coming. So 1 to cross the hedge, 1 to enter the clear road, and move here. That's a gamble. We can't make it into the house. Ooh. And then you're adjacent there to the hedge, and hedge offers no protection. They'd be in the open. That would be another gamble, because if the German player gets initiative, he would just shoot right down there to British that are in the open. So let's rethink it for a moment. 1, 2. Let's check that there stuff. That is low crops, 1 movement point. So what we'll do is actually hop that hedge, hop right there. So we'll put a move on them. So now they've got a block line of sight. They can reach that house on the next turn. Yep. Okay, so now Germans. These Germans aren't going to move anywhere because they're shaken, but they got a medic. This guy, though, can move up, and he will. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's his movement. Okay. Ta-da! That's everybody. So, these melee can come off because there's no more melee. Again, without reading, I think the melee marker stays, even though there's nobody there. Part of me says it would come off because there's nobody there, but then part of me says it would stay there for that segment because, again, kind of the whole simultaneous actions. Just because I resolved it first, this stuff here is still happening, and now that melee would come off. But I'll have to reread that section to gather that, or someone in the comments can tell me. Since it's so difficult now to reach up and hit pause, I just figured we'll just go with that. So we'll take that off, this off, that off. So all these folks are back to normal. All right, so we're going to roll initiative. That was a long turn 4. German player gets the initiative. This is now turn 5. And the German player is slowly pushing up. I honestly thought they would do a lot more, but I think maybe, I think the German player could still take this, but it's going to be tough. In fact, it's going to be kind of a tough nut to crack, this Lord Holmes. It's only 2 defense, but he's got pretty good morale. So he's going to keep people in action pretty good there. All right, so let's check for morale. Now, I'm going to do this medic first. Now, I am going to check the medic, the single man counter on that one. I will pause. I will pause for that because I want to make sure I get the medic right. I think I got this for the medic. So it looks like the medic has an option. He can either heal a wounded unit, but one, heal a wounded unit himself, or like a leader or hero, or can make a rally attempt on 1 unit. So I'm going to make a rally attempt on 1 unit, which is going to be the squad with the machine gun. Now we are in the open, so I don't get any terrain benefit for that. So the medic is going to make a morale check. Now he's got 6 morale. 5. Alright, good. So he got them back in action. So he's good. Now I just happen to have over here though, this entire stack got hurt badly. So we're going to check for the leader first. Now they are in a hex with a positive trait modifier, so they're going to get a -2 to their rally rolls. So that's 5 -2, so the leader is good. Now he's going to further add his 1 leadership modifier, well, a subtraction, so it's going to be -3 for everybody's roll. This hero is in good shape, so we're going to go ahead and leave that right there. Okay, we got a squad, which is 11 -3 is 8, so they're still shaken. Next squad down is 11 -3 is 8, so they're still shaken. And that squad, 8 -3 is 5, so the one attached to my MG34, I don't know, oh that's right, because he got reduced. I was like, why would I put a 0.54 with a machine gun? Oh, because that used to be a 2.64, but yeah, they took some casualties. Ooh, right. Alrighty, so we're now at the beginning of turn 5. We just did the rally. Now we're on to operations. So I get a look at my stuff here. The German player has the initiative. Alright, no problem. What we are going to do is have, I don't know which stack would be the better stack to shoot at Lord Holmes. I think we're going to have this stack shoot at Lord Holmes here. This one here, I think. And what do they got? Okay, they have the MG34. So what do we got? We got 2, 3 firepower, 3.5, 3.5, 4, because it's half for their ones, so half and half makes a 1. And then we roll our dice. So the German player gets a grand total of 10 firepower. So what I'm going to do is take my little reminder die, 10 firepower, and the British roll a 2, and they get to add 1 for the wood, 1 for the foxhole. So that's a grand total of 4 for them if I just do a reminder. So 10 -4 is 6. Okay, so Lord Holmes just had his world rocked. He's got to make damage checks, and he's got to add 6 to those. That's not good. That's not good. So with that in mind, let's roll. I'm going to take these extra dice out of the way. Don't need them right now. So Lord Holmes, 7. So 5 plus 6 is 11. Now just to make sure here, I believe that is still just a shaken because it's a single hero, good order, single man counter, not a hero. It is just shaken, just shaken. because it's 11. It's not double, so he is shaken. And then my lone squad in the group here, 10, shaken. All right. Yep, this is not looking good for the British. So we put a fire marker. Oh, hold on. This I did forget earlier, and I had to admit, I do still forget this because it's not quite something I'm used to doing. I forgot to check for spotting because spotting. I mean, I didn't check to see if I could see him. This is something that the more I play, I see how this is super beneficial because the British are hiding. They are definitely the smaller force, and so they're at a big disadvantage. So them being hidden and forcing the German player to spot them is actually very important for them. So to be fair, I really should rewind all of that. None of that just happened because I didn't spot. I know the British are there, but my men can't see them because the British are hunkered down. So, I mean, honestly, to be fair, and I know earlier I think I did attack that hex without spotting it. Luckily, there was no casualties or shaken because it was a bad set of rolls. But to be fair, with a brand new fresh board like this, nobody sees anybody because you can see them if they shoot or if they move. But once you take those markers off, they're now hunkered down into their fighting positions, so we can't see them. So if Lord Holmes were to shoot at somebody, then I could see the hex, but he didn't. So let's see what it takes to spot. Spot check on my little table. It says I'm going to roll plus the defensive modifier minus a leadership modifier or a scout. I don't have a leader doing it. If the terrain is blocking, then you spot on a 2 or less. If the target terrain is degrading, you spot on a -3 or less. That is the light woods. I believe light woods is blocking. Oh, it's degrading. So I would spot on a 3 or less. So I would have to take a unit and then roll for it. But here's the thing. With the 5.0 rules, if I just go and look for spotting, I think they said if you successfully spot, you don't have to mark that unit with ops complete. It used to be they would get marked ops complete, but let me check because I think now they can shoot and participate. Spotting attempt. So that's on page 51. Lots of rules for spotting, but it is such an important part of the game. See, I used to not like it, but now with these scenarios where the defender has like fewer units, it's actually it's good. It's good. It helps out a lot. So a good order friendly unit is adjacent to the hex. No, they're not good. So we had to roll. We did a roll. Spotting attempts. We did with a unit. It didn't pass through any degrading. It's all clear. We don't have imaging sites. Buildings and hills. True. Okay, once a hex is spotted, a spotted marker is placed there. Do not place spotted markers on hexes containing units already marked with move fire. So I'm going to I got spotted spotted markers in here, some spotted on the back of my ops complete. See, they are spotted. They are spotted. Spotted markers are removed during each admin. Spotting attempts do not constitute an impulse, but only one attempt can be made per friendly impulse. And a unit attempting to spot is marked with an ops complete marker regardless of the result of the attempt. Oh, I apologize. So I've got a squad here that is now ops complete because they made the attempt. If If the only action a side does during an impulse is perform a spotting attempt, it is considered a pass. Well, no, because we're going to shoot. A unit under an ops complete marker can fire at full FP at a hex it is spotted during the same impulse. By the same token, leaders under an ops complete marker can add their leadership modifier to this fire's 1d6 roll, but only if directed against a hex the leader spotted. Alright, so let's just read this developer note. Experienced players rarely make spotting attempts. They let a turn's gameplay and the actions of both players' units create spotted hexes. For example, they let fire, movement, other actions reveal and expose the hexes containing enemy units. Spotting attempts are done tactically only during early turns or in desperate circumstances. Right, so that is true. I hear people do that a lot. So that was probably not the best use of resources, but it worked. So I think we'll go with it. So we'll go with that. Did I roll? Well, that's the other question. Did I roll? A 1, 2, or 3? I don't think I rolled. I think I read it, but I don't think I rolled. So one of my guys is going to make the check. It's 1, 2, or 3. I think I just talked about it. I don't think I actually rolled. Well, here's the German die. So this is the official roll. If I rolled and passed it earlier, oops, because I forgot, because I was looking it up. But now here comes the official German die for the German spot. From that hex, they rolled a 4. So they failed to spot. Okay, well, there you go. Ops complete for him. Okay. It says it doesn't quite count as an impulse, but it does. Okay, so it doesn't count as an impulse, but I can't do any more spot checks this particular time. So it's only once per full impulse. So if I can move adjacent to Lord Holmes, then he'll be spotted. But then he can kill whoever gets there. Alright, so we're moving up. See, this is why I put Lord Holmes here. There's no cover very much. So we're going to move this guy 1 into that stuff. He's now in a foxhole. See, if I move into the road, he's in the open. This guy can actually opportunity fire into an open hex and possibly hurt that squad. We're going to go right there. Yeah, this is tough. They're holding us up. They really are. They're holding the German advance. Okay, British player. Now again, see, Lord Holmes knows there's people there, but he can't see anybody. In fact, yeah, he's just there. He's gonna wait. This is the tactical thing. I'm waiting. I'm gonna let the other guy make a move. So what I'm gonna do is take the British and place him there in that house. I could opportunity fire with this German unit though. I could opportunity fire. Because I can see them, because they move. That's spotted. And the house gives 3 defense though. And I have a leader, hero. This is my deadly leader. Yeah, see, it wouldn't do any good to move this guy up. Well, it will do good. He just can't contribute to this current firepower. So what we'll do, let's do that. We're gonna opportunity fire. We saw those guys move into the house, so that would give us 1 bonus. So the hero has 1 firepower. And I've got my deadly leader. So he'll add the hero, leadership modifier of the hero. Can you add more than 1 leadership modifier? I think you only get to add 1. Let's look that up. See, again, I could pause right now, but I really don't want to stand. Let's see. Firing. Leadership modifier. Oops. Too many pages. If a good order leader of the same nationality color as theirs protected, the leader must survive his own. Okay, that's the difficulty check. I'm looking for modifiers. There is a spot here for leader's influence on combat. Leaders not under a moved, low crawl, or anything like that conducted aid all attacks. Okay. Specifically, their leadership modifier is added to a unit's total FP that is using the direct fire table, including weapon teams, and or subtracted from the to hit die roll for support weapons. The leader can aid both units using their inherent firepower, support weapons, and support weapons or weapon teams using the OFT table that are activated. So, just based on that right there, I'm only asking because I've got the hero leader and he's got a leadership modifier of 1. But I don't see anything in here yet that says you can only apply 1. So like if you had a leader, a 2 leader, and a 1 leader, would you get to add 3? They add together. So that's what I'm checking here. Let me see if the table mentions like 1 leadership modifier. Leadership modifier plus leadership modifier. 5.01. But I didn't see anything that limited how much. So if I got 2 leaders, let me check here under 10 or 11. One of these talks about single man counters. Leaders are individuals with exceptional skills. The number's on the right. Leadership modifier. Aid. Okay, good order leadership modifier can be used to... Only 1 leader per hex per impulse or rally phase can use as leadership modifier. Okay, so I think I did cheat earlier when I added the hero's leadership modifier to himself for one of his attacks. Yeah, I cheated, but I caught it now, and that's why I wanted to look that up. Because it did seem kind of wonky. Like, that's pretty powerful. If you just stacked a hex with a bunch of leaders, that would be an amazing hex. So that's why I read that. I'm glad I did. So for this fire, and I think that would have modified the outcome of melee, because I gave a leadership modifier to the hero in addition to his own firepower. But you only get 1. Only 1. So that'd be 1 firepower, deadly. So that's actually 3 firepower for this stack. Shooting at the house. Yeah, that's probably not going to do much. So we'll roll it. Because, oops, hold on, wrong dice. So 3 for him, that's going to be 6 total firepower for them, and 6 total defense for them. Oh, wait. 1, don't forget the 1 for movement. So that's actually going to give me, oh no, I was right, because see, 1 firepower, 2, well this might work out pretty good. 2 firepower for the leadership modifier, plus 1 for being deadly. That's 3. Plus 3 is 6. Plus 1 because he moved is 7. Yeah, they get to make a damage check roll with a difference of 1. Ooh, there's a slight chance I might shake them. Because if I roll a 6, they'll be shaken. 6 plus 1 is 7. That's greater than their morale. They are shaken. They moved. We saw them. And fired. Holy cow. I'm slowly getting these rules down. This has actually, I think, been a pretty good game. Couple mistakes, but I think I've caught up on a few things. Feeling pretty good. I'm sure the comments will let me know otherwise, but I'm feeling pretty good. So they're shaken. Alrighty. Now it's to the British. Lord Holmes, you're actually in a good spot, buddy. Stay there, Lord Holmes. Stay there. Now, we do have this German up here. He has a shaken unit, but the machine gun unit is healed. He's going to move up and move into that stack. No, he won't. Yes, he will. They're in a stone building. If Lord Holmes shoots, he will not only make himself exposed, but then those guys have a really good defense being in that stone building. And since that's only 2 single-man counters in there right now, a hero and a leader, those two are working business. So I can actually fit them in really well. So here goes the machine gun unit. Boop, boop. So welcome to the club. Now that unit will get moved. They'll get moved. Alright. German. British Impulse. Again, I think we should just call that good. Yeah, the British player is going to stay there. He's not going to do anything. Back to the German player. Yeah, we're going to force this because what I'm going to do is move a squad. Because if I get the squad up here, then we'll have Lord Holmes spotted and we can shoot at him. So if Lord Holmes doesn't do anything, he's spotted. But if he can... Now see, if I shoot this guy though, Lord Holmes is spotted. This is a very, very difficult position for Lord Holmes to be in right now. But he's got to stop that guy from getting up here to spot him. But in doing so, he does become spotted. But he's in a pretty well defended spot. Foxhole in Woods. Well, that's not as good as we thought it was, because that's only... Yeah, it's a foxhole. That's only 2. Lord Holmes actually would be better off to retreat back to that place. But here come the Germans. 1. What do you do, Lord Holmes? 2. Okay. This guy would not do well to initiate melee. I'm just saying. Because we've got pretty good combat odds here. But we could reinforce it. In the next turn, force it again. But melee is so grinding on people. So the German player is not assault capable or anything like that. So he's just going to move there. He's just going to move there. And I think Lord Holmes is going to do his best to... Because that house has 3 defense. 3 defense. It's 1 better than here. Alright, let's see if we can do that. If I take this stack and move back 1, nobody has line of sight to him. Because this woods protects him here, and the woods protects him that way. 2, 3. Then they would have line of sight. They have range of 6. And they're not clipping that wall. Let's do it. Go big or go home. Lord Holmes is a brave, brave man. Alright, so who's going to be shooting? A machine gun unit. I thought I had a lot more people. Oh yeah, we moved 1 out. So who's going to be shooting? This machine gun unit. So let's roll some dice and then add some results. Oh, Lord Holmes. Lord Holmes, why? Why did you do that? Oh, because I told him to. Because I told him, go big or go home. Well, guess what? He's about to go home, I think. Alright, so we've got 2 for the MG34. 1 for the squad, that's 3. 4, that's total of 7. 7 firepower, so I'm going to mark my little 7 dice. Then, oh wait, it's an 8 because Lord Holmes is moving. So add +1 for moving. Gotta have that little reminder there, he's moving. He rolled a 1, and he's in the open. So 8 minus 1 is a 7. So we will be adding 7 to the damage check. Okay. Thanks for playing, Lord Holmes. Let me put a fire marker here, because they fired. Alright, so Lord Holmes, you're adding 7. Lord Holmes, you're guaranteed you're shaken, buddy. 1 plus 7 is 8. You came so close to not being shaken, but it was an inevitability. Inevitability? This squad, for sure, is shaken. 2 plus 7 is 9. This might have been the worst decision. I think the thought was sound, but when I looked at, I'm telling you, it sounded like a good idea at the time. Get them into a better defensible position where they can still oversee that spot. Yep, because now, Lieutenant Coke, he's going to just come running and capture those guys. Who's going to go in with them? Lieutenant Coke, the hero, not the shaken, but he will take the machine gun dude. So he's going to have, he's going to stay behind. And he's going to send the hero who has ambush. Oh, that's right. Let me reread ambush. We just looked at that, but I think it said if I get adjacent, I get to roll, and I might get to place down some fun units. Maybe we'll just run up and ambush now. Ambush. Single use. Use this skill when a unit occupies an enemy hex or is adjacent to an enemy occupied hex. Then we'll roll 1d6 for the forces allotted in the table to the right, in or adjacent to the user's hex. Well, let's do that. So we're going to take the hero who has ambush, and he's going to go with his buddy who has a support weapon. So let's count it out. 1, 2, 3, 4. The hero even has assault, but this guy down here does not. He's only got 4 movement points. Open, open, open. And there's nobody that can opportunity fire. So here's what happens. Couple things happen. 1, we move into the stack. It's going to get marked with melee. Lord Holmes is taken. Him and his decisive. Goodbye. This shaken dude is taken. Goodbye. So there's casualties. Then I'm going to roll on my table as melee to see if I get any kind of reinforcement. I don't know if you can see the table very well, but I'm going to open this up. I rolled a 4. So I get a squad with a machine gun support weapon. Now it does say, reinforcements assume the activation status of the user and must be of the user's type. Infantry. It came from infantry. It's a hero, so it's an infantry. But I would say it would have to be kind of random. I would have to like put all my infantry together and draw it, and then because there's several different types of infantry. So to be fair, most of these were 164 infantry. So I'm just going to say it's a 164 infantry squad, because I don't want to pull all my individual infantry counters out to make a grab bag. So we'll give him a 164 and just another MG 34. That's the weaker of the machine guns, so I'm going to just be fair in that regard. So he's bringing on a machine gun support weapon, it says. So just a standard squad with a machine gun into that stack. And he loses the ambush. So now we've got a lot of firepower out in the open. Alright. That still leaves Lieutenant Koch, but he's going to stay because he wants to rally. So pass, 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 pass. Oh, that's game. Because I have no other leaders. But let's go through this here. Let's do it. I'm going to pull my markers. I'll show you why that's game here in just a second. Just in case you're wondering, why, Eddie? How is that game? It's check and mate. And I'll show you why here in just a second. We're going to roll for initiative. Allies get initiative, so it's turn 6. We're going to do rally. Oh, I missed an ops complete. This is from the guy who attempted a spotting and failed earlier, so he's fine. Did I miss one? Yeah, I missed a moved marker. I just making sure I got all the admin markers off. Alright, so we check for rally. German player... Oh, sorry. Allies have the initiative. I have shaken unit here, but no leaders. No medics for them. And I got my 2 over here that are shaken, taken out of the fight. Nothing we can do for them. Their leader died a long time ago. Then we got Lieutenant Koch. He's got 2 shaken squads. So he's going to see if he can rally them. So they get a 1 for his leadership modifier, 2 for the terrain. That's -3 to their roll. So that's a roll of 4. -3 is 1. So he is good. Check the other squad. 3 -3 is 0. So that's below. So they are rallied and ready to rock and or roll. Then, I didn't have any other shaken folks I'm looking for. They're all good order and heroes and stuff like that. Then, for the win, we can now move in. And that will eliminate the shaken unit from melee. I would put a melee marker onto that spot. But we have cleared all British forces from the map. And that's game. Now, little bit of a wrap up. As I played, I did realize a couple mistakes. I hope I caught them and addressed them. And I don't think any of them were game breaking. I think earlier, like I said, there was a time I missed a spot check for Lord Holmes because I fired in there. But luckily, they failed. They didn't wound anything. And then I know I messed up on the defense once or twice because I honestly thought woods were 2 defense, but this is saying that light woods is only 1. So I know I messed up defense for him once or twice. I think I maybe, a couple times I forgot about the movement penalty, but I think I later on was remembering to add the +1 to hit for movement. I think I've got most of it this time. I think I got it pretty good. I pushed aggressively, and that caused tactical mistakes, big tactical mistakes, which did cost the British the game. Honestly, I thought I could get away with moving Lord Holmes to the house, but he was caught out in the open, and yeah, he paid dearly for that. He did. And I thought, it's just that's the only problem with the solo, and I can see maybe why that, like, I can see the appeal of like the solo system. Would the solo card do something that silly? Probably not. And I knew better. I even said this is probably bad, but it was like, let's just go big. It didn't pay out for him. Same down here. I thought melee would go a lot better in favor of the British, but I was not expecting that one little squad to roll an 11 and then wipe out the attackers. That was not expected. And then the British paid dearly for that too, because then I had these guys hanging out in the wind. So there's some things that I just was not expecting. So this was actually a very enjoyable game. I think, and you guys can tell me in the comments, I feel confident enough that I could play an infantry game like this with a face-to-face opponent and get the rules enough that we could play properly. But that way I could then have somebody, outthink me. And I think I'm ready for a face-to-face opponent. This was enjoyable, and I think I've got it. I'm feeling really good. Guys. And the new rule book is great. I cannot tell you how awesome this is to go and look for, look things up. The index is great. I can find everything. Good examples, clarity of rules, fantastic. So hopefully as I play more and you guys continue to point out mistakes to me, I'm going to have this down. But I think I've got enough now that I can play a face-to-face opponent. Overall, a good scenario. I wasn't initially happy with the placement of the British troops, and ultimately I tried to get a better positioning. I was just pushing it too much. I really was. I should have left Lord Holmes where he was, forced the German player to continue to move, but yeah, it was overwhelming. I don't know, I had a couple points there where I thought, I think the British are going to pull this off, and then no, the Germans got it. I'm happy, like I'm smiling. This was a really fun scenario, and I'm glad that I think itinerant hobbyist buddy of mine, I think he pointed out to me that it was itinerant hobbyist. He pointed out that the module even mentioned a starting scenario, and this actually is a really good starting scenario to get your infantry game and rules down. So as long as I can remember, check for spotting, because that's not something I have a complete habit with yet, but ultimately when I remember that, I can see how that does make a definite difference. Here especially, when my British troops were so low, there may have been one or two opportunities where I needed to make a spot check, but I think overall we've got it. So I'm feeling really good. There is one other scenario. Well, actually, if you just start taking the module now from this scenario and go forward, I think those are the base. Like if you're in your book, I really don't know the order that they got these, but I'm thinking personally, this Saving Brigadier Hill, and then if you go forward the rest of these, I think these might be the original scenarios for the Heroes of Normandy module, and then quite possibly the ones that are here at the beginning are the ones that were the extras that they pulled from some other resources. So if you start here and then start moving your way forward, these might be the basics. So a bridge at Chef DuPont. I don't know if that's Pegasus Bridge. Oh no, that's American, so that's not Pegasus Bridge. But you got Americans here. A few more people, 2 more maps. This might be more of a stand-up fight. Oh, it does have some special scenario rules. Just a couple of them, and no hidden paragraphs. So this might be the next one that we play together. Oh, I'm busy looking at this and not even showing it to you. So we just did this one here. Oh, nope. Oh, where am I at? Where? Did I go backwards? I think I lost where I was. Blum, blum, blum. Sniper's Den. Here it is. Yeah, I totally advanced past. So we just did Saving Brigadier Hill. The next scenario, if I carefully advance forward, is Sniper's Den. Adds a few more troops. They have a sniper. Okay. Yeah, and then Men of France. Starting to look a little more complicated. Yeah. So probably what I'll do is start from here, Saving Brigadier Hill, which we just played, and then move forward. Because I think those are probably the original scenarios that came in the original module. I'm only guessing. I could be completely wrong. There might not be a rhyme or reason to how these are laid in here, but that's kind of my thought. But anyway, that's it. I'm rambling. Happy, good game. Very, very pleased with the results. But just let me know, if you did watch the video all the way to the end, how was the camera? Did it show up everything okay? Because I put the camera way up here. Tried to zoom in enough so you could see both boards and the units. And then I've got some different lighting to help light things up. And then this makes it so I don't have a tripod that I'm hitting all the time. So let me know how that worked out. Could you see the action very well? You know, any presentation tips would be great. So again, thank you so much for watching. So we'll go ahead and end that, because I'm sure now this is getting close to 2 hours and I know you got better things to do. Thanks a lot. Bye.